little lacking here, Lafkian.
Yeah, these starting stats, the agility and HP not so great. MP hopefully, well, they're going to hope that it's hiding a spell behind, but we can see, unfortunately, that is not the case. That 9 strength, though, not too bad. Not the worst you can start with.
Starting out here, we have gold, a cursed belt, and a magic key, and of course, no spells. But that cursed belt could be sold potentially to pay for a copper sword or some other starting equipment if need be when they find a town.
Absolutely, potentially could do that, but before it looks like we do have a cave here.
Indeed, and it appears that it is waiting to get any sort of confirmation. Nothing really. And it looks like Rafellos might be looking for a town here.
Yeah, some early exploration strategies here coming out of HighRofellos, maybe wanting to look for a place to spend that money, not too far away from the hand axe.
There is a town. You can see at the very bottom of HighRofellos' screen, there is a town tile there. Will HighRofellos get there? The answer is yes, makes the way in, and it is the shopping mall. It's Cantlin, right near the castle.
Oh boy, really gonna hope to pick up that hand axe or maybe even a copper sword, and chainmail would be pretty huge here as well. Let's see if the exploration pays off here.
First shop didn't have much of anything of real value. Here we have, unfortunately, just some starter armor is all we're really gonna see.
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. Made that walk and a couple of runs on the way for not a huge payoff here, but did go ahead and pick up that armor, and that is going to very likely help with those early levels. And very heads up play here does pick up that fairy water. That's going to be huge. For those unfamiliar, this does do 9 to 16 damage to anything outside of a metal slime. And we've seen here ArchfieldMonk having a pretty tough time getting off the ground here, but not so for HighRofellos.
And we're also probably going to see a lot of herbs getting bought up for some healing early on. Real heads up shopping trip here from HighRofellos, making those runs work for them. Meanwhile, Archfield just going around. There's another town, though. This one's in the desert to the southwest. And now look at this, selling the copper sword, really maximizing the gains. And unfortunately, Archfield finds the wrong town. It's Hawksness.
Well, it's the wrong town for now, but it could be the right town later. Lots of things could be hiding under that search spot. Do need to be able to beat up whatever monster is on that guaranteed encounter spike tile, but you never know. Could be the sword, could be the armor, could just be the fairy flute.
We have another cave just to the south of Hawksness. So 2 caves, 2 towns right near Tanagel. And I'm not sure, but it was looking like that this land might have been tapering off. Could we have a very small starting island here?
It's definitely possible. Only time will tell, as it looks like HighRofellos is going to bop this metal slime for level 2. Let's see what it gives. Nice 3 more power. Oh, wow. 5, 18, 7, a new spell. The spells of hurt and sleep. Excellent finds there.
And that actually will mitigate somewhat the advantage for HighRofellos with all those fairy water buys. If Archfield can get to level 2, that hurt spell more or less equals it out.
Absolutely. And that sleep spell, nothing to sneeze at either, although it looks like some of these starting monsters have been a little bit difficult here. I do believe I saw baby fire breath out of the ghosts.
Whoa, look at that. It's fire all the time. Level 3 brings hurt more to the table.
Alrighty, that is definitely going to speed things up and create a potential spicy advantage here for HighRofellos as, oh my goodness, immediately finding a wyvern.
2 levels with 1 magic cast. You get 11 power, 3 agility, 13 hit points, 21 magic points out of that particular level. Wait to see when the tracker switches to 5 what spell we have.
Looks like we now have Stop Spell, which could be useful on these scorpions. HighRofellos doesn't know it yet. ArchfieldMonk very aware that these things do like to cast Hurt Spell themselves, but no, it just goes for the Hurt option. It gets the 1-shot kill.
Archfield desperately needs level 2 to get off the ground here. HighRofellos is rapidly moving out there.
Yeah, and it's going to be really tough as, unfortunately, again, these ghosts might be the best option here, but they have that baby dragon fire, and it just makes it so hard to get experience. Only needs 1 point to get to level 2, and once you get to level 2, level 3 is not far behind, and then it's anyone's game. Red slime here. Let's see if he can get it.
You're definitely ahead of me on that one. I had to wait several seconds for that slime to show up, and the red slime has sleep. Could be bad.
All right, looks like just a regular attack coming out of that slime, and yes, he will take it down. He will get level 2. He will get that hurt spell, and so he doesn't know it yet, but Hurtmore not going to be too far behind.
And there you go. Bit of a lucky break there. HighRofellos snuck attack by a knight, but the knight used hurt. So the last cast of Hurtmore will get another level. No strength, 7 agility, 10 hit points, 1 magic point, and another new spell. We have return. I'm assuming we'll see an in trip or maybe just a death warp.
Yeah, either could be a viable option here. Looks like the Death Warp is going to be pretty efficient. The Wraith Knight only too happy to get the jump on him and send him right back to start, but little does that Wraith Knight know that's exactly what HighRofellos wanted.
And you know what? We're probably going to see a check of Hawksness here, just in case it's an Axe Knight. Maybe get lucky with some Blue Dragon coin flips. There's some possibilities here to check that. But first things first, indeed, tablet near the castle. And we're going to get a check of our first chest of the game.
Absolutely. It does take a little bit of time to check this chest, but usually diligence, every once in a while, diligence is rewarded. But looks like this time may just be a torch.
A little torch there, and here's level 3 for ArchfieldMonk. So Hurtmore coming down the pipe, and you're going to start seeing these levels fly now.
Absolutely. It's really up to the encounters that they get here, because a little more than 200 experience separating our runners. Unfortunately, oh geez, getting back attacked by a wyvern there could have narrowed that experience gap even more. But again, let me stress this, it does come down to what encounters they get on the overworld, how efficiently they can use that magic. We could see this tied up here momentarily.
I gotta say, Hawksness looks like a decent place to hunt with that Hurtmore. We've seen a wolf and a knight and a Wraith Knight. All are very Hurtmoreable, can be taken down. And speaking of the Wraith Knight, there it is. But the disadvantage of hunting that Hurtmore is the 3 in 16 chance to miss. Gets it on the second try, though, and that is almost level 7.
All right, now HighRofellos gonna make his way over to this spot, and hoping for maybe a blue dragon or anything he could throw Hurtmore at, but no, it's gonna be a red dragon. That red dragon is going to just take him out and send him right on back. So a little bit of information there, but not exactly what he wanted to see.
We'll have to wait and see if HighRofellos will try to level up inside of Hawksness or maybe push to that southern cave. Who knows? But either way, this will be level 7 right here off this ghost.
Oh my, 12 power. I didn't quite see the rest of the stats, but that power is going to definitely come in handy. It looks like only a little bit of response speed, a little bit of HP, and the spell of Heal More just showed up. That's wonderful for a HighRofellos. Is going to be very useful.
HighRofellos right back into Hawks, just looking like, yeah, notice those Hurtmore enemies, and is probably looking for level 8 in short order here. Just going to wander town looking for things to murder. And a rogue scorpion, another great target, Lavkian.
Absolutely. Free 72 or so experience points here, and they have stop spell. That's a lovely thing to see in case you get back attacked. Not going to be too dangerous here. And it looks like HighRofellos coming back in. Maybe he wants to get himself some levels.
Absolutely. Both of them are taking good note of the enemies and just going for the levels right now. Archfield also going to do a check and get the disappointing news of that red dragon.
Interesting strategy here. Did try to go for that sleep, maybe wanted to run away, but I do believe that is a 1 in 16 to land. So didn't quite work out there, but that's okay. He was pretty much out of resources anyway.
Blade about to land on HighRofellos' side. The stats hopefully are going to be rather helpful here. The agility's still pretty low at this point in the festivities. We've got 1 power, 9 agility, 7 hit points, 2 magic points, another spell. Very nice indeed. Good gains all around there.
Absolutely, that level was nothing to sneeze at. Looked like they did pick up that repel spell. Always a great spell to have early on, especially when you can pick up some armor for yourself, pick up a little bit of agility. It's going to make your traveling over the overworld that much more efficient.
It looks like indeed it is Swamp North. I was theorizing it could be that, just based on how the land was forming up, but still no confirmation. We're on a small island, only a possibility at this point.
Right. And a question from Z-Man in chat. Any good weapons in Cantland? Well, I didn't. Unfortunately, there was no.
There was
I
a
do not believe there was a
broadsword.
copper sword available. Okay. Confirmation that we had broad and flame. So good stuff there. Tila Tila noting in chat that it looks like we have a stone man on the spike tile in the swamp cave. So probably not going to be too hard to get past if they do decide they need to rescue that princess.
And that might be quite possible depending on coordinates if this is the island start, but it's looking unlikely potentially. But we're outside of the cave now, and hey, a werewolf, that's a good target. And it takes the max hurt more, and there's level 7 for ArchfieldMonk.
Indeed, werewolves not 100% guaranteed to be one shot by that hurt more spell, but it does happen more often than not. Meanwhile, over here on HighRofellos' side, did go ahead. He remembered what he saw in that first shot, picked up that large shield, broadsword, and silver shield available if there is a gold grind.
Yeah, that broadsword is awfully tempting with the possibility of that gold gain in Hawksness. You're taking out rogue scorpions and wraith knights and knights. You're making over 100 gold per fight. It adds up pretty quickly.
Absolutely. Question in chat: are all the tiles in Hawksness the same encounter rate? And the answer is no. As far as I know, the tiles in so you'll notice that there are tiles on the overworld that the players are going to want to grind. So the maximum encounter rate, if you do want to grind, is going to be those desert and mountain tiles. So when you go into Hawksness, you're going to want to be walking back and forth on those desert tiles to maximize the number of encounters you get. And if you don't want any encounters at all, then you want to walk on as many grass tiles as you can.
And just to give a little color to the festivities, as you were explaining that, ArchfieldMonk had a hurt more fizzle on an Axe Knight, and the Axe Knight does have stop spell. Thankfully it missed, and Archfield picked up level 8, but that Armor Knight was having none of it with a sneak attack.
Well, that's a little bit unfortunate in the early going, but good news for later is if we do see armored knights in Sharlock, hopefully we will have Erdrick's armor by then, and then that stop spell will pretty much mean that there is safe encounter to take.
All the beefy Mohawk boys are out in force. We've seen Knights, Axe Knights, and Armor Knights within the last minute here.
Absolutely, and speaking of beefy Mohawk boys, looks like HighRofellos is going to find himself a knight and take it out for the next level. Let's see what it gives. Oh my, the power was low at the start, but it keeps coming through. 11 more 0 hit points, but a handful more of those hurt more spells to toss out, and it looks like they got the regular baby heal as well.
That was a conflicted empty eye level. There was 2 zeros, but 2 double-digit gains. And looking at it, I think they might be locked on a small island. It's really not, it's impossible to say just yet, but it's looking like they might be locked in by water, and they're going to have to traverse this swamp cave quite a bit to move around the world.
Absolutely. We did see the experience lead get cut down a little bit as I don't think Archfield has seen Cantland yet, and so is really just focused on trying to find anything that he can over here on this opposite continent. But right now, Hyro's sitting on about double the experience based on simply just going and doing that grind in Hawksness. Very heads up play there.
Doing quite a good job of it. And hey, some nice 58s back-to-back here for Archfield. Picking on the Druid Lords and the Droll Magi's. Again, great hurt more enemies there. 100% to die if the spell connects. And apparently Demon Knights have hurt more and are not afraid to use it.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate, as it's very, very difficult to respond in kind. So maybe gonna want to try that stop spell if he sees them again later. And HighRofellos went and got his MP and HP restored, is gonna be right back in Hawksnest looking for level 10.
Enough money on hand now to get a half plate if desired, and could also be looking for broadsword. But more importantly, after this wolf, HighRofellos is going to be a mere 1 hurt more cast away, most likely, from level 10, provided it's not a wolf, of course.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do, if he just leaves right away after getting level 10 or not. And speaking of level 10, here it comes. Oh my. It just keeps rolling.
Double digits again in strength and magic points. That strength is skyrocketing for later, and those magic point gains are fantastic when you have hurt more and heal more already in the bag.
Absolutely. Lorgon in chat noting that the agility is still poor, but if the strength keeps growing up like this, you could just take Airtrix Buttersword and just slice through everything you see and just fight your way down to the Dragon Lord. May not actually need that much agility. You know, ideally you want to defense break a handful of things, but if you could just kill everything in 1 or 2 hits, then that's pretty good too.
So for those just joining us, possibly an island lock start, but there are 2 towns near the castle and 2 caves. We have Tablet Cave near Tanagil, has a torch in the basement. To the southwest of the castle is Hawksnest, where a red dragon guards something or possibly nothing. To the southeast, we have Cantlin. No keys yet available to our racers. And the final cave, directly south of Tanagil, just a little past Hawksnest, is the Swamp Cave, Swamp North, which leads possibly to an entirely different part of the world. We're not quite sure yet, but with Hurtmore in the bag, these experience points are a-flying.
Absolutely. And very interesting too, we have divergent strategies, as ArchfieldMonk did find that Swamp Cave first and has done a little bit more exploration than HighRofellos. Has not found anything of value yet except for a lot of experience points. Again, at one point, HighRofellos doing that grind was about double the experience of ArchfieldMonk, but now ArchfieldMonk closing to just a little bit less than 300 here.
Yeah, there's small little advantages for HighRofellos at the moment, but it's mainly just a bit of experience. Despite that heads up early buying from HighRofellos, we are seeing that things aren't quite the advantage we thought they were going to be. And hey, that is unfortunate. Another baby breath with a takedown there, and I believe Archfield was just outside of a town and a cave.
Yeah, almost made it to that town. Unfortunately, could not run away from the Axe Knight, but I imagine will be headed back in that direction immediately. Noting in chat here that the Axe Knights are pretty much free with the armor between the stop spell and that baby breath, probably doing about 6 to 12 damage. Once they get that armor, they're going to be tasty experience.
You gotta love that for later on, but right now, a dangerous enemy taking out ArchfieldMonk. And Stoneman has DL2. Oh boy. As does the Magi Wyvern. So all of a sudden, the big breath making itself known.
Absolutely. Fortunately, that HP is also rolling in and coming in handy. HP and MP pretty high, going to be able to keep themselves healthy as they do that exploration. I do believe that at this HP, they are able to survive a max roll here. And alrighty, ArchfieldMonk just making a beeline for that town. And oh my goodness, what a huge find here.
We have Rimulder, or Rimuldar, also known as Keytown, 53 gold per key. Unfortunately, the guy who makes the keys makes them shoddily. They break after you use them once. But hey, provided the door is open, you're good to go, right? You don't need to open it again, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully not. Yes, they are one-time use only, but ideally, yeah, you're not going to need to go back to the same location twice. as now with those keys, advantage ArchfieldMonk, as he is going to pop right back in and go ahead and check this in chest.
You spend 2 keys, you get 1 prize. Hopefully it's not the dastardly 1 for 2 sale where you spend 2 keys to get 1. It is indeed the dastardly 1 for 2 sale. I feel like I feel like that's a commentator's curse, Lafkin, if ever I heard one.
Well, every once in a while that does tend to happen. Now, I don't believe I saw ArchfieldMonk check the weapon and armor shop. Interesting choice here, but we'll go ahead and check out this cave. Looks like it's going to be bonus cave here. Let's see if there's a useful item this time around.
It's a little bit of a death necklace. So that is one of the items that could have been possibly in Hawksness in that search spot. So 1 less to worry about.
Absolutely. One thing checked off the list, 1 step closer to potentially finding the armor or the sword outside of the final castle. And now that he's headed outside on the map, trying to explore, trying to find more things here, going to go ahead and take out this Armored Knight, get himself level 10. And while the experience gap does remain in the favor of HighRofellos, the levels are even.
HighRofellos with the broadsword now, has gone another direction in this area of the world and has entirely missed Rimuldar. So, bit of an advantage here for Archfield on choosing the right direction there. Oh, this is some trolly Big C Sharlock, if ever I've seen it. Hopefully just got to walk around the lake and go up. It could be a trolly path, though, potentially.
Absolutely some decisions to make here, as okay, HighRofellos is going to go ahead and pick himself up level 11. The double digits keep rolling in, already up to 80 power.
81 magic points. So those magic points are getting very, very choice as they move along. We're going to get an armory check here at Tanagel. 4 chests. We have a torch. We have Dragon Scale. That'll add 2 defensive power when equipped. As it is now, even if they sell or throw it away. Big bucks in the bottom left, and the top left is also big bucks.
All right, well, this is a good find here early, as we have not seen the grave or the mountain cave yet. So with that knowledge, ArchfieldMonk could execute a gold grind here. Does need to find that town of Cantlin to find himself some worthy prizes, but if he can find that, find the mountain cave, execute a gold grind, this would be a huge advantage for him. Let's see what's in the basement.
Archfield, I believe, has seen Cantlin, has been in it, just has bought nothing there at present. And in the basement, we have the harp trade-in for the Staff of Rain cave. So we'll have to come back here at some point to get that Staff of Rain, one of the 3 items required to get the Rainbow Drop, which is required to access Sharlock Castle, where the Dragon Lord lives.
Absolutely a little bit unfortunate that he will have to make that return trip. Sometimes it's nice if you can already have that silver harp in hand to just trade in immediately, but no such luck here. Now, considering heavily what he wants to pick up out of Cantlin.
I was going to say probably the broadsword seems like the best move if you have if you've checked and seen that red dragon. You're going to have to cut through it eventually, unless you think you're going to find Erdrick's sword ahead of time. Probably going to need that broadsword.
Yeah, that could be a good purchase to pick up sometime in the future. Does decide that with that Hurt More spell, wants to prioritize the defensive stats instead. And meanwhile, just continuing to comb this potential second continent, is HighRofellos. I do believe he's close. I don't think he saw the bottom of the Big C, but could be close to finding out how to actually get inside.
Well, that's good knowledge to have when you are getting to the end of the game. Right now means nothing because that access is impossible. And my goodness, the experience points are flying out there. Look at that. HighRofellos almost at 2,600 right now.
Yeah, is going to be within a couple of Axe Knights of the level, choosing not to fight this one here. Didn't quite see if he was out of MP yet.
Look at this blessing. There is a town right outside of the of Sharlock, and it is coal. So we're going to have a search, and there's a place to fill up before you make your dive. So you can use magic on the way over. That's a real plus.
and goes to check that search spot before going to see what is available in the shop, and nothing.
The way she goes sometimes, boys. Sometimes she goes and sometimes she doesn't. That's the way she goes.
Alrighty, so far I think that we have seen at least one cursed belt, so that could indicate something awaiting us in Hawk's Nest or potentially even on the world map. Chat noting that Archfield did decline to check and see if there were coordinates at this point in time, and now with that convenient in, HighRofellos still sticking around on this second continent to see if he can find anything else.
And meanwhile, the experience points coming along for Archfield, not that far away from level 11, but HighRofellos just pounding along, a little over 200 away from level 12.
Yeah, and unfortunately, a little bit of bad luck coming Archfield's way. Not sure if he was on the opposite continent or not, or maybe he just headed east out of the castle, but does get blocked by the rogue scorpion, does get sent back. Which way is he going to go here? Does want to go immediately to that second continent and try to get a little bit more exploration done, maybe find himself coal and head in the same direction as HighRofellos is now.
And something for those who may not be aware, ArchfieldMonk casting return there after talking to the castle, to the king in the castle, gets you out of the castle a little quicker. And when you have a lot of magic points to burn, not necessarily the worst move you can make. Save some time and just get going.
Absolutely. We are all speedrunners at heart. We do want to save those frames, and save those frames ArchfieldMonk did to get himself out on the map a little bit faster, get himself back to exploration mode. And here is a Droll Magi for HighRofellos, one hurt more away from level 12.
Here
Do we have
go.
another
Let's see what we've got
double-digit
here,
boost
Lavkin.
here?
We've got 9 power, not quite a double digit, but what a gain. And look at those gains all the way across the board. You gotta love it. Almost every spell in the bag now, just radiant, lighting up the darkness of dungeons. The only thing missing.
Absolutely, and with that broadsword in hand, could soon go and see if he can maybe take out that red dragon, see what's waiting for him in Hawk's Nest. But right now, gonna go ahead and check this cave. Looks like we have found the jerk.
Level 14 is looking pretty good there, Beta Strap, I have to say. The strength, if you look at it, is already kind of there at 12. It's just the agility and the hit points are kind of scary. And here's a cave. We're finally going to get something to explore here. What do we have?
Alrighty, gonna go ahead and check for that Radiant spell. Realizes it's the only one that he doesn't have yet. Fortunately, does have that torch. And looks like we do have the grave.
Rafello's going one early. I hate when I do that, so I'm sure Rafello's hated it too. The first chest, we have another cursed belt. That's 2 search spots. So we will have something in Hawk's Nest. We will have something in the overworld. A magic key and a magic key. Big gets here for Rafellos, because Rafellos has not found Romalder.
Absolutely a fortunate find here, as yes, we know that the Rimaldar chest does not need to be checked here, so HighRofellos could potentially complete this seed without seeing it at all. And now the choice is, do you want to dive down or do you want to skip it? And based on the way he's moving here, looks like HighRofellos wants to do the complete dive.
Really low on resources, and with that low agility, it might be tough to do running if they run into some truly horrid monsters. Meanwhile, Archfield finds Garanam, where there's a warehouse with 3 chests and a stairway at the back that can be accessed, which I think by process of elimination is going to be Mountain Cave.
Yeah, it does seem like that's going to be the case here. I do believe that is the only thing that we have not seen so far. So now very much mixed knowledge here. We're going to have to see which find of the cave pays off first, as so far nothing too important here for HighRofellos. I mean, the keys are going to help him out, but they're not going to help ArchfieldMonk out too much.
Here we go. We've got wings, some Red Bull. We've got Erdrick's token, one of the story items, and we have gold. So despite this fast start, that's our first story item find, Lavkin.
Absolutely, and a huge find here for ArchfieldMonk, as we now know that HighRofellos, fortunately, he does have keys, so when he finds Garenham, he will be able to go ahead and pick that item up. But he is going to need to find it first, and now we're in the mountain cave. What are we going to find here?
Indeed, it was the last cave to be found, so by process elimination, it was indeed Mountain Cave, and the top floor brings the Stones of Sunlight.
Alrighty, so now just that silver harp left to find in terms of story items. Let's see if we're going to find it here. Let's see how hype this hype cave is.
And I have to say, Beta Strep, the Scones of Sunlight sound delicious. And we have a torch as well as some gold, and the third chest of this floor is empty, so that would be an herb, not a key, because we've used keys to get here, leaving one final chest for Archfield to check.
And the last chest that we do find, he did make it there. Oh my goodness.
It's
big
the
stick.
A big stick.
Big stick acquired, does not need to pick up that flame shield, may not even opt to do a gold grind. I imagine we're going to see a little bit of exploration, but as soon as ArchfieldMonk takes his next death, I have to imagine Hawksness is not going to fall too far behind.
Oh, with Hawksness that close to the start, sometimes runners might have it skip their mind. HighRofellos walking out, probably out of resources. Yeah, one magic point, can't cast outside. It is now looking for help from a green dragon to take him home, but kills it with a 2-shot because the strength is so high.
Absolutely does manage to kill it. Not honestly, a Druid Lord following a green dragon one-shots the Druid Lord. He's looking to maybe do a gold grind out of this, which could be huge for him, as he does not have Erdrick's sword just yet. But the getting that extra experience, not too bad either. Just continuing to grow further and further that advantage.
Hey, Druid Lords have the big fire breath. How about that? Sends HighRofellos home. Take him home to the king, where half the money's gonna go, but that's fine. Just fine. HighRofellos just needs enough to buy keys. Go buy keys and set to go.
Absolutely. Doesn't quite know. I do believe this is the first time HighRofellos has been back to the castle since finding that first key. Gonna go ahead and purchase himself a few more here. Maybe check the basement. But after that, we'll be happy to find that he can indeed very easily trigger that gold grind. Knows there's that silver shield available. And so the defense advantage gonna go to HighRofellos potentially for the rest of the seed.
And it will be highly important if this agility continues to, as the kids affectionately call it, sucking butt, because it is pretty bad at this point.
Oh boy, it's been about 25 years since I heard that one, but I don't disagree at all. Now, again, mixed knowledge here between these two runners, as ArchfieldMonk does know that he needs to turn in that harp there, but doesn't have it yet. Needs to find that grave, needs to execute the full dive before being able to find that. So now, with the Staff of Rain in HighRofellos' possession, just needs to find Garenham to get himself Sharlock access.
I have to say, I was going to take offense to you calling me old, but you remembered it from 25 years ago, so you're old too. This is okay.
I feel a little bit on the younger side occasionally in the Dragon Warrior randomizer community, but I know a few things.
So Archfield just grinding away in a desert right now. Not really pushing out to check Hawksness and maybe get those coordinates. We have yet to get a coordinates check from Archfield, who has had access to keys for some time. And as you said, HighRofellos actually just got those keys inside of Garen's grave. So literally the first time the sunlight touched Rofellos, had keys in hand from the find. To answer a question in chat, yes, we do have 2 belts. So there are 2 search spots to give away items here, I believe. And yes, indeed, coal was empty on the search spot. Here's level 12 now for ArchfieldMonk. Right now, the gold grind happening on HighRofellos' side due to a programming oversight or limitation, or however you want to put it. HighRofellos has the 3 chests from the throne room accounted for, plus the 5 opened inside of the grave. Is now able to just keep opening the same chest over and over and over again, printing up money, and is probably going to go get a silver shield and magic armor from Cantland, not far from the castle.
Absolutely, yes. Able to do this gold grind to whatever his heart desires, and it looks like he's gonna stop at. I'm not sure if we've seen magic armor yet. Maybe betting that magic armor will be in the keylock shop. And alrighty, now ArchfieldMonk is gonna go ahead and check those coordinates. And
what do we have here, Lavkin? What do we have?
Oh boy.
It
102.98, 200 steps, potentially several more required. That's about as far as I've ever seen away from the start.
It was so far away that the guy was so excited to get that information out, he had to put 2 periods on the sentence with a space between the first and the second one. He totally blew that apart.
Absolutely. Now, chat noting that this might be able to be done with a backwards count, as I do believe Tantagel is on the north side, and I think maybe we have seen the bottom side of the map. However, not wanting to mess around with that is ArchfieldMonk, as he is back right in the swamp cave, is going to go ahead and tackle this stone man, has the big stick, going to make short work of this and pick up that princess. But thou must.
Something interesting to keep in mind as well, I don't think we've had a Hawksness check yet, and that's much closer. Do you not just start with the Red Dragon? You have heal more. You've got access to Erdrick's sword. Should you not just get the murder on that Red Dragon and find the armor that way, potentially?
Potentially could do that. Maybe wanting to prioritize the easier play first. We may see a Princess World Tour here. May see ArchfieldMonk take that princess to go see if he can take on that Red Dragon. But no, gonna go ahead and throw out that outside. Gonna go ahead and throw out that return spell and turn in the princess as soon as possible.
So a bit of a possible divergence in path. It depends here. Is HighRofellos also going into Swamp Cave? So interesting. Neither one wanted to challenge that Red Dragon. I don't know if they realize how high their strength is. With that half plate and silver shield, HighRofellos would be in pretty good shape against that Red Dragon. It would be possible, that is for sure. Next level, look at this. The power is up to 93, the strength. Unbelievable stuff here. And that green means go on the strength at level 13.
Yeah, wow, this attack power is looking pretty crazy here, as I do believe HighRofellos, when he does pick up that sword, will be crossing the 130, maybe even the 140 mark here with that HP a little bit shy of what you might want, but that MP creeping up slower, higher and higher. That 14 prediction for go mode could indeed come true.
At this point, it's really going to come. Oh, that was a bit of a bad break there. A no effect sleep, and the breath sends Rofellos home. Disappointing. So let's see if Archfield's going to give us an idea of where we lie on the map. Obviously, you're going to need to see some kind of corner of the map to really get to search it.
Yeah, that's a very heads-up play there, waiting to see, waiting to get to that bottom right corner before using Gwaelin's love or that Gwaelin positioning system to see exactly where he is. And once again, the routing through this seed continues to diverge constantly here, as we do have HighRofellos going into Hawksness, wanting to see what's there. One of these plays will pay off. Maybe both of the plays will pay off. We did see that with the divergence in the 2 caves that have been explored so far, but this may be the critical turning point here once we see what's waiting on the ground here.
Either way, you've got to make this play. Both have seen things the other have not, but this is the closest to the castle. Those coordinates, I know the reverse count. There's all these things you could do, but heck, you have to make. You've got to see what's here. And look at that, easily taken out with that flame sword. HighRofellos searches and gets the armor. Massive get here. So with that armor in hand, HighRofellos gains all sorts of wonderful advantages, Lafkian. Do you want to run down all the lovely features this armor gives our racers?
Absolutely. Of note here that there are at least 2 or 3 existing remakes of this game, and in every single remake, compared to the NES version that we're playing today, this armor has been nerfed. It is probably the strongest piece of equipment that you will ever see in any game, as it not only cuts fire damage in half, not only does it cut hurt and hurt more damage in half, it gives you immunity to those poison and barrier tiles, as well as the stop spell. As noted previously, the Axe Knights with that stop spell will not be effective. With that Fire Lord breath will only be tickling HighRofellos as he continues to push through the seed.
It also protects you from swamp and barrier tile damage, and it restores 1 hit point per step, and I believe it's only 1/3 it cuts off of breath and hurt spell damage.
Yes, I do believe that is correct. A little bit of a misspeak there. However, with that armor in his possession, going to go right back to pick up that princess and do the same GPS searching that ArchfieldMonk has a little bit of a head start on. But I do believe we have this narrowed down to... Well, I believe ArchfieldMonk is hoping it's the harp.
Archfield got the item, I believe, and it is the fairy flute.
Okay, so a little bit of a disappointing find here. Probably knows that he needs to get back to Hawksness ASAP to find that armor. Was probably hoping for the harp, but no such luck here, unfortunately.
So now it becomes a bit of a race. How soon does ArchfieldMonk get Erdrick's armor from Hawksness? How quickly does HighRofellos find Garenham? How quickly does ArchfieldMonk find Mountain Cave there, or from Garen's grave? These are the main outliers for our 2 players. Does HighRofellos go after the coordinates, or is Garenham and Mountain Cave the aim?
Well, with that princess turn-in, it looks like HighRofellos, again, missing the stones, missing the token, is hoping that one of those 2, also missing the sword, I want to note that there, is hoping that one of those goodies is going to be out on the map. So, you know, we are going to see most likely HighRofellos go ahead and beeline for that. He will get the unfortunate news, and finding the flute sometimes can be a little bit of a penalty, taking the time to search that spot. But with HighRofellos heading in that direction, most likely not going to be too much of a disadvantage here.
What a troll from the Wyvern with that much attack power. ArchfieldMonk could have easily sent it packing with a single slash. The Wyvern gleefully dodges to the side and sends ArchfieldMonk home. Might be to Archfield's advantage, though. Will Archfield now go to Hawksness?
Well, I should hope so, as, we know that he hasn't looked to see... I'm not even sure he's looked to see what the spike tail monster is, and definitely should have it narrowed down to either the harp or the armor. Very important item regardless of what it is. But no, going to bypass that and head out to the other side of the map once again.
So ArchfieldMonk needs to find the grave, and as we're aware, I believe it is in the eastern portion of this chunk of the world, in a swamp somewhere. And hey, getting level 13 in the process, so that experience gap has shrunk a little bit, Lafkian. Both on the same level now. Slight advantages both ways on defense for HighRofellos, obviously, but a bit of an attack power advantage for Archfield.
Absolutely. The strength continues to go up and up and up, and now HighRofellos has indeed found the town of Rimbledar, is going to check for some big rewards here in the inn. Will unfortunately discovered that 1 for 2 special. And so now, having almost all of the knowledge that ArchfieldMonk has.
I'm so proud of you. You're one of the few commentators that gets the 1 for 2 sale. Moving onwards here, Archfield now looking through a whack of foothills here, approaching some swamp and Strawberry Wyvern, Fields Forever, is not a song you want to hear, especially when the Hurtmore misses and gets a stop spell. Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, not quite having Erdrick's protection from that spell, but looks like I'm not sure if he ran or was able to take that out, but not too much of a time cost either way. And now heading up that western coast is going to find himself a town. I am not sure exactly which town this is.
I believe this is Garenham for Archfield, so probably just going to walk right on by. Death Necklace pickup for HighRofellos from the Vanilla Stones of Sunlight or Freebie Cave, and we'll continue adventuring around looking for Garenham, the town that Archfield is near right now.
All right. Well, things have been moving pretty quickly here, and it looks like ArchfieldMonk may have not remembered that he saw this town before, walked in, appeared to be hesitate a little bit there. I do believe needs to head east in order to find that grave and the last item that he needs.
And now you're going to see the advantage that the Axe Knights will adhere to anybody with that armor. Stop spell, failing to land and just wasting turns. An excellent move, dropping 115 damage. HighRofellos continue to explore and getting some nice experience in the process.
Absolutely. And it looks like I do believe HighRofellos is on the opposite continent right now, is still looking for those stones, for that token, maybe also still looking for that search location. But we know up here in the commentator's booth, he needs to go back to the cave. He needs to go north. As soon as he does, he will have that Sharlock access, which, by the way, just a quick note here, ArchfieldMonk, I don't believe he's seen the Big C yet.
I believe Archfield has seen the base of it, but doesn't know how to access it and has not seen coal yet? Possibly. I believe only HighRofellos has seen coal.
Yeah, we did see coal there right next to the Dragon Lord's castle. Could be a potential way to grind up if indeed they need to do so, or at least a base of operations should their dive go poorly. And all right, now we do see the bottom of the Big C here, and I do believe that as ArchfieldMonk continues to go east, should have no problem finding that jerk, should have no problem.
Did you see that agility? 20 agility at level 14 makes the agility no longer quite the concern. That's an extra 10 defensive power. Very nice.
Absolutely huge for HighRofellos, already having that Silver Shield and Erdrick Sword. Unfortunately, 74 is a little bit less than what you might want for a Sharlock dive, depending on what's inside.
With a Silver Shield, even 65 is probably enough for what you'd be hoping for. That's just bonus agility at that point.
Well, with that 87 defense power, will be high enough to safely swing on 49 HP against that Dragon Lord too. So yes, maybe just a little bit more agility here would be a bonus. Could be defense breaking a little bit higher monsters there. Again, could be a boon, could be just a hindrance, depending on what awaits him in Sharlock.
So, for those just joining us right now, the race between Archfield and HighRofellos is going to come down to who finds the cave they need. I think Archfield was just within a stone's throw there. I think on the coastline to the south in the swamp was the cave that ArchfieldMonk needs. Meanwhile, HighRofellos picking up, not having grabbed the flute yet, is still trying to find it here on the edge of the map and needs to find Garenham, where Mountain Cave lies at the back, where all the stuff HighRofellos needs is inside, and that would be the stones or the scones of sunlight, Erdrick's token, and Erdrick's sword. It's a heck of a find.
Absolutely. Those scones of sunlight sound delicious, but I'd rather have some rainbow sprinkles myself, and I do think that both of these runners would agree.
Absolutely, and scones of sunlight sound nice and goldenly fluffy. My mouth is watering just thinking about it. Archfield continuing to look here, desperately trying to find coal, desperately trying to find a way up to Sharlock, desperately trying to find the grave. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But in the meantime, these red dragons are just getting slaughtered by HighRofellos.
Absolutely. 126 attack power with that flame sword. Nothing to sneeze at. Is going to be able to take out those red dragons quite easily. And I did miss where exactly that search spot was. I don't believe HighRofellos picked up that flute. I think he might be a little bit too far north. I haven't seen him use the GPS recently, so we'll have to see if he does try to double back for that spot.
Absolutely. It is quite the interesting conundrum. Archfield getting the empty search spot news, going to check the weapon shop. Probably can state that inn desperately needs some help here to get refilled and continue exploring. So ArchfieldMonk searching for Garen's grave on the overworld. HighRofellos is searching for Garenham. Mountain Cave lies in the back, and that is where we will find the Scones of Sunlight, Erdrick's token, and Erdrick's sword. It's all coming down to who finds what they want first, and who's going to get to Sherlock first. But, as pointed out, that agility a little concerning. And HighRofellos is on the wrong side of the map. I wonder now if HighRofellos Lavkian is going to go back to looking for that search spot.
Yeah, I think that might be the play here, and it's really unfortunate because the way this map is designed, we did see ArchfieldMonk head up towards Garenham a couple of times. It's pretty much on the northwest side of this very large second continent. I don't know if it loops back around. HighRofellos is going west. Not sure if he's going to be able to find it in this direction.
I am 95% sure they started on a small island. We haven't seen the full border of that island, but it looked like the way the land was going, that's how it was. And I believe there's going to be Breckenry for HighRofellos. And indeed, it's the 6, Toronto, the cheapest inn in all the land. And HighRofellos says nope and gets out of there.
Absolutely uninterested in what Breckenary has to offer, was probably hoping that is Garenham. I'm sure he's checked everything else off of his list and sees that Breckenary is very disappointed and just leaves immediately.
Lavkian, I've got to point out, if you look at the very bottom of HighRofellos' screen, you're going to see a forest tile with a bridge to a forest tile, and I don't think there's any other connectors involved. Why would you spend money on that construction project? I have no idea.
I have no idea either, but I do know there is someone potentially out there in chat, or very experienced runner indeed, who would be very happy to see that, maybe even financed it herself.
Speaking of Sparkover, she'd love that area. 5 bridges all over the place.
Yeah, we do. We have, in fact, found Bridgetown. ArchfieldMonk did find where all of that construction money has gone as well, but unfortunately not finding the one location that he wanted to find himself.
And these green dragons are great for HighRofellos. With that stop spell love they have, whack away with that flame sword. Save a few magic points. 2 to 3 turns, you've got it done. And the experience cap has grown by about 600 in about the last 7-8 minutes. HighRofellos getting better quality using that repel with Erdrick's armor versus repel with the clothes.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of having, slightly low agility is, unfortunately, sometimes having Erdrick's armor and the Silver Shield early can backfire if you don't find some of those mid-game monsters. But right now, HighRofellos with that Flame Sword and with that Hurt More spell pretty much done with all of that riffraff as closing in on level 15.
Absolutely, and ArchfieldMonk is in the same area that HighRofellos just went through, now backtracking towards town and maybe going to stay at the inn in Breckenry. So a little Breck love for those Breckenry lovers out there.
Indeed, both of our runners headed kind of in the same direction. Unfortunately, not in the direction that they want to be. I do believe that the Rainbow Drop Cave and the grave that ArchfieldMonk is a little bit south of where he is. And unfortunately, it does look like that HighRofellos is not going to be able to go as far west as he needs to. And wow, chooses to cast the return spell. Interesting decision here.
Well, probably just going to restart and figures there's nothing in the east, there's nothing in the north. It's time to look west, and this might be a big play here for HighRofellos if that is indeed what's going on.
Absolutely. A little voice in his head saying, "Go west, young man." And that is indeed what he needs to do in order to find the last thing that he wants. Tilo noting such a miserable feeling during a race like this. Absolutely. When the strength rolls in, when you got that early hurt more, you got to feel like this should be a jet seed. This should be a potential sub-hour finish. But no, this map is huge. It needs to be explored. It demands attention, and it is creating a very big gap so far. Now, HighRofellos getting level 15. What do we have?
Level 15, just gonna look for some bonuses here. A nice magic gain to be good, some strength, some agility. What do we got? 6 power is nice. No agility, nothing else really landing. And of course, picking up Radiant there with 15. So all spells on hand by level 15.
Absolutely. And with that MP and power as high as it is, already 132 with the flame sword, could forego any torches for the rest of the seed and just use Radiant to dive that castle.
What a critical smash from HighRofellos. 131 damage on that green dragon. HighRofellos just to the south and going away from Garenham right now. Really close to what he requires to get this over with. Things are definitely pointing towards HighRofellos at present. Sharlock dependent, of course.
Absolutely. As soon as HighRofellos does manage to walk a little bit further north and find himself that town of Garenham, it's going to be about 5 minutes or less before he is ready to make that first dive. At that point, it will absolutely be advantage Hyro, but it really just comes down to who finds what first.
I was terrified HighRofellos was using return for a second. So close to Garenham. Just needs to go north to reach it. Now, will HighRofellos full clear the mountain cave that's in the back of Garenham? If so, that attack power is going to jump up to 100, I believe 44, which will give a range of 11 to 22 on the Dragon Lord and would open up magic use on the dive towards the Dragon Lord in Sharlock.
Absolutely. Going to be swinging for 11 to 22, looking at about a 16 damage average. Could win in as little as 10 hits. Plenty of magic to use on the way down. And yeah, it's looking like this could be pretty free here, as now headed towards the back is HighRofellos. I have to imagine he's going to full clear this. I have to imagine he's going to pick up all the items here, do his due diligence, and be very happy with what he finds.
Archfield finally going to Hawksness. If this play had been made 20 minutes ago, we might have a different leader in this race. But right now, HighRofellos definitely in the driver's seat. It ain't over yet, but things are looking to be angling that way at present.
Absolutely. And yeah, very unfortunate here. A little bit unfortunate here that it is the armor for ArchfieldMonk. Probably was hoping to find that harp and be able to just dive Sharlock. But no, making all the checks that he could, was hoping that Cole might have the answer, hoping that Hawksness might have the answer. But there are no answers to be found here. Needs to go east on the second continent.
The thing for Archfield that's doubly bad finding that armor, as you said, now it's the harp might have been better to find. But if Archfield had done the check when the hit points were in play and the Erdrick sword in hand, it would have helped with the exploration. There would have been less time battling and healing, and it would have saved so much more time then. So it's a double whammy if you look at it from that angle. And as you see, it was indeed an herb in that chest that was empty for us when Archfield was there. So there's only 2 chests, maybe only 1 left to check. Actually has everything. Or I'm going to check this gold and is probably going to full clear, and I'm going to love it finding that sword here. That'll save any effort in Sharlock. The only item of any real value that would be left in Sharlock would be the fighter's ring.
Absolutely, and that fighter's ring is probably not going to be necessary at 144 attack power, so going to be happy to make that find, knows that it is more or less go time, is going to need to remember exactly where that jerk cave is so he can pick up those rainbow sprinkles and turn them into a bridge of destiny towards the final spot.
You're making me miss my donuts. I finished my last rainbow sprinkled donut this morning, and now I want more. Thanks a lot, Lavkian.
That's what you get for not sharing.
as a Canadian, I had to just stuff them in my pie hole as quickly as possible. Archfield finding coal again. Just cannot find Garen's grave.
No, and that's a bit unfortunate here. Not sure exactly what direction he needs to go. I do believe it is east. Maybe could find it on the other side of this desert. Actually, I do believe going up here, gonna go ahead and find himself a cave. Not sure if it's the grave or the jerk. It is the jerk. So one extra bit of information for ArchfieldMonk. I do believe the grave is close by. If that is true, this could come down to the wire. This could come down to who can put everything together first on this screen. Yes, gonna find that grave, gonna put everything together.
Really close now. And yes, indeed, there is the grave for Archfield. Has to go all the way to the bottom and will more than likely check that side passage, wasting some time. But of course, Archfield has no way to know that's what's there.
No, unfortunately, no way to know, but if he can make a heads-up play here, he's seen monsters that he should be defense breaking, could cast that repel spell and speed up that dive a little bit. Hasn't done so yet. Maybe he wanted to get 15 first.
Well, the repel spell did run out right then and there, so obviously knows it's gone away, or maybe just tunnel vision on finding that heart.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're an hour into a seed like this and you spent so long just looking for that one thing that you have left to find, sometimes that tunnel vision, sometimes maybe even just a little bit, just a tiny smidge of tilt could set in, make you make some decisions. No, alrighty, here on the second floor, has chosen to make the full dive and did get reminded by that Druid Lord to cast the repel spell. Good play here.
And HighRofellos continuing to fight, only about 1,000 experience points away now from level 16. We might see a fight and dive, but first things first, of course, has to get that rainbow drop. Then the coal, fill up, and get ready to head into Sharlock.
Absolutely, just gonna head right back up here, turn in those items for that rainbow drop. Maybe gonna go ahead and refill that MP and coal, and then we should see our first dive here. And how smoothly that dive is gonna go is gonna depend entirely on what he sees once he gets inside.
And of course, how brave he's feeling with that attack power. There might be a lot of hack and slash if it's those enemies like green dragons and axe knights, who will give decent experience and have stop spell, seemingly as a 75% action.
Absolutely. We do have knowledge that some of the usually stronger monsters are a little bit of a cakewalk in this particular seed. Some of the usually weaker monsters, such as that Star Wyvern, I do believe, hiding that DL2 breath. So gonna need to be very careful and make some very potentially difficult decisions here once he goes inside.
I do see some chatter in chat about, not having that armor, but knowing there's 2 gold chests in the castle, in the treasury, there's a half plate probably in Cantlin. Do you not just grab the gold, get the half plate, go get that red dragon? That is probably the biggest divergence in choices made by our players. Archfield ignoring Hawksness for so long.
Absolutely, and I do think, pointing out that he had seen those 2 belts would kind of hint at the fact that there was nothing left there, and also that red dragon, a little bit difficult to take out in the early goings, but now making that play, and interestingly enough, going back in. Oh yes, needs to turn in that harp.
The magic point possible gain is really irrelevant for HighRofellos. You should just grind a bit on the dive. If you're going to fight and you're going to have to do it anyway, just do it on the dive. Get that level on the way down. Maybe get that bonus strength or agility then. Interesting choice, but it's not very efficient here.
Yeah, not too terribly efficient. The only thing that I can imagine is maybe he wants a little bit more agility again, in case there are red dragons, in case there are axe knights. Maybe it wants something closer to 90 agility to turn those run chances into about a coin flip. Maybe also wanting to get to the point now. Very curious here. He is at right about the point that killing the spike tile monster right before the Dragon Lord could get him the level. Maybe that's the idea he's going for here.
No, this looks like just going to level up and go and refill. So this is opening the door a crack for ArchfieldMonk right now to actually get and go. ArchfieldMonk will remember where the rainbow drop is, to the north of Cole. This might become a neck and neck race to the bottom, depending on how they play it.
Absolutely. In the position that ArchfieldMonk is now, I have to imagine he's feeling the pressure, knows the skill that HighRofellos has, knows that everything is on the line here, as whoever wins will move on, whoever loses will be out.
HighRofellos 3 experience points short of level 16, so we'll get delayed by another fight, continuing to leave the door open just a crack. It was very much almost slammed shut, but it's looking like it's just open a smidge right now for Archfield. Again, Sherlock luck dependent. And this will get it done right here.
Alrighty, yes, gonna go ahead and take out this Wraith Knight. We're gonna go ahead and see if this pays off here. Oh boy.
No strength. Gets some hit points for some bonus and gets just enough magic points for another heal more. Not necessarily the time expenditure you want trying to win a race. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Still, HighRofellos' advantage at this point in time. Now cuts away from the inn and is going to get herbs. More time being spent here. Still keeping the door open for Archfield. This is going to be tight as laying out right now, Lavkian.
Absolutely. This is going to be pretty close indeed. Without that extra power, only 1 extra agility, really not much gained out of that level. Maybe if you got a little bit of attack power and it comes down to dueling deal 2 fights, might have been able to out damage ArchfieldMonk, but no such luck here.
Playing it safe, getting those herbs, now back into town. Gets a troll attack outside of town to waste some time. And look at this. HighRofellos is heading to the inn. Meanwhile, ArchfieldMonk is heading back now to try to refill at Cole. It's going to be both of them in Sherlock. Who's going to have the better dive? We'll have to wait and see. As you can see, Archfield approaches Sherlock as HighRofellos heads out of Cole. It's probably only, what, a 30-second lead at this point.
Yeah, it can't be too much more than that. Really is going to come down to how clean this dive is for both players. Not sure if I saw a repel or fairy water usage out of Hyro when he came in. A clean first floor nonetheless. And as he makes his way down to that first basement level, ArchfieldMonk is making his way inside. 1 floor separates these 2 runners. This is as close as it could possibly get.
Oh, I've called a couple that have actually been closer at this point in this tournament. I've been lucky in that regard. But another great race here, guys, as HighRofellos in basement 1, ArchfieldMonk on the top floor of Sherlock. It is going to be a race to the bottom. A fairy flute play from HighRofellos with 75 agility. That's a bit of a time waste where you could probably try 2 runs in that time and get away.
Absolutely, and unfortunately, Archfield getting blocked here by these armored knights on the top floor was able to take one out with, I believe, his first Kaishin no Ichigeki of this tournament, but unfortunately getting blocked one more time, trying to run, trying to save those resources, but no, is still on the first floor as HighRofellos makes his way through the diamond floor.
You are seeing RNG at play. 2 heal mores burn for ArchfieldMonk as the Kembe Armored Knight will not let Archfield go.
Oh boy, now with those 72 magic points in hand, if he could just get away here, maybe could potentially still win this fight. But no, he continues to say no.
4th heal more of this. Somebody who does the stats. What is the potential of this troll job? And look, he's just like, you know what? I'm going to kill it, go refill. So the lead has grown massively here for HighRofellos at this point in the festivities with this trolley armored knight.
Alrighty, gonna go ahead and continue his dive here. And, you know, just as a little reminder that agility sometimes matters a little less than normal, finds one, AK runs away immediately.
You can't even cast outside on the top floor. Thank you for the reminder, chat. So heading down there to try to do it now. And again, Wizards have, well, actually we didn't know this, but Wizards have DL2, so that's 2 enemies in here. that have that. So Stonemen and Wizards. And here's the outside refill now for Archfield coming. HighRofellos, a heavy favorite right now to take this race. What was shaping up to be an amazing finish got trolled by an Armor Knight.
Absolutely. Very unfortunate here for ArchfieldMonk. Is going to have to make try number 2 just to get down to that first basement level, as HighRofellos has crossed the U floor, is now on the hold right and press down floor. And now...
It's an unbelievable stop there, Laugh. You can just walk through the barracks. The U floor disappeared in a flash.
Absolutely. And now we need to see what awaits on the bottom floor. What could possibly stall HighRofellos from victory here? A blue dragon in one part of the slot, and oh boy, here come the fun police.
But with these swings, it's a low red dragon. It's a 2-turn red dragon kill. What a lucky hit point roll there for HighRofellos. And now a Stone Man, who we know has that DL2, but gets away.
Alrighty, and it looks like, wow, before he can even make the first turn on track, Charlotte gonna get stopped again by these fun police.
A sneak attack and then a dodge. Now keep in mind though, HighRofellos can still burn a little bit of magic. You probably want 11 heal mores for safety, but 10, possibly 9 would be enough with this strength, depending on rolls for damage on the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, the HP is a little bit low. Probably not going to expect any double attacks here, but with this power, again, could do it in as little as 10 turns. So yes, 8 or 9 heal more should be enough. 12 should make this basically an input error lock. But really, it's up to the final floor to decide how much he gets to take in to that final battle.
And just something to point out, that wizard over on Archfield side, again, DL2 snuck attack with the breath. Really trolly stuff on Archfield side. You hate to see that.
However, yes, unfortunately, that first dive and part of the second dive, a little bit unfortunate here for ArchfieldMonk, already down to 11 heal mores remaining. But again, he's slowly making up ground, is on that U-shaped floor, is going to slowly but surely catch up to HighRofellos, as his clean dive here has been a bit messy towards the end.
And a bit of a nice gainer there. Archfield's been running from golems, so that's been saving time compared to HighRofellos' dive. But a red dragon shows up for Archfield. Another heal more burn, but 11 left should still be plenty for Rofellos. What's on the spike spot? It's a no worry Axe Knight. It's going to cast Stop Spell. Look at that.
Absolutely gonna go ahead and chop through that like butter. Gonna go ahead and take his 7,777 gold and try his luck in this final battle, going right in Dragon Lord. Oh, wait. Wow. The back attack stop spell.
Well, you know what? It was a back attack, but it was a stop spell. So you have to say, and another stop spell. Wow, that's incredibly rare.
Alrighty, and after getting bopped once by Dragon Lord, go ahead and choose to use that herb.
Not like that play at all. Unnecessary time waste, but did get the stop spell first try.
Alrighty, no back attack here on DL2.
Opens with a 14. Following that, on the second part, is a 16. We're up to 30 already. And a triple attack. 42 damage before a heal more. All over but the miss menu at this point.
Absolutely all over. That silver shield paying off in a huge way, as this Dragon Lord seems to have forgotten how to breathe fire.
60 after 4 attacks, so the average is not playing out, but you get a triple opener. Averages be danged, it don't matter. There's a 20 on top of it, 80 already.
Yeah, 21 coming in here pretty much at the top of his range. This fight could be over in a matter of moments.
101 now with 7 heal mores left. I mean, wow. Here we go. The next attack is a 14. It's 115 damage here. Another heal more down to 6. But closing in, a minimum of 35 to go, depending on how many hit points this guy's got. 127 now. And of course, going to be a heal more with that 20 hit points. The next attack from HighRofellos is a 14, 141. The next attack can do it. So we should see back-to-back swings here regardless of how it turns out. Don't need to waste that heal more time. 16 doesn't get it done, but the next swing will get it done. But safety heal anyway. And the next swing will get it done. And HighRofellos will take this race. Prepare your GGs. It's all over, Lavkian.
Indeed, a very, very well played race for HighRofellos. Did get stalled by that large map. Just hung up for a little bit here, but managed to find what he needed in time. Managed to get a pretty clean dive right until the very end. And yes, indeed, this will be victory for HighRofellos, who will move on. Get out your GGs as HighRofellos has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 54 seconds. But don't look away just yet. Right behind him is going to be ArchfieldMonk on that Dragon Lord 2. Should have no problems here.
And yes, indeed, a well-made point by another commentator of the Randomizer. LOZ Cards fan saying if Archfield gets a clean dive the first time round, we might have a different winner. And that just shows you how Sherlock can really decide things when it wants to be cruel.
Absolutely. Very unfortunate here for ArchfieldMonk. Also a very well played race here. I didn't see what his count was. Likely did not get that opening triple. Does not have that silver shield. Does need to be a little bit more careful. The DL2 could probably hit him for up to 50 on a physical. But with, I do believe, 4 more heal mores in the tank, should have no problem here finishing this up.
Looking good overall. That 13's a little low perhaps, but still in solid shape here. Archfield going to be out of the tournament here, but going to be a really close finish. Going to be what? Probably less than 4 minutes, maybe even 3.
Yeah, I would suspect about 2 or 3 minutes difference here, as long as Archfield is able to win the fight. Coming down to the wire.
These
gotta spend that last heal more.
These rolls have been pretty rotten here, but hey, that 18 will help. But Archfield's got to see those big numbers keep showing up. Could get a couple attacks in here before the end. A 12, another bad roll. If this isn't the kill shot, will he get away with it? No, taken down. Oh, 1 swing away. Disappointing. The Dragon Lord being a troll. And unfortunately, oh wow, max hit point Dragon Lord. How about that, Lavkian?
That is extremely unfortunate. Not only were the rolls not good enough, not sure if I saw any 20s at all in that fight, but a max HP roll of 165 is going to put a slight halter.
Mike W in chat says that ArchfieldMonk hit him for 164. So while Archfield refills herbs and gets ready to dive again, joining us in the booth, today's winner, HighRofellos. GG, HighRofellos. How did that race feel for you?
Not great, since it took me 3.5 weeks to find Garanham.
Oh, if you watch this one back, it is agonizing as it becomes a race of who finds the one thing they need first. It was wild to watch it go back and forth on who was close and who was far.
Yeah, a little bit of differentiating information there is both of you routed the seed very, very differently. Archfield found the Garanham of the Mountain Cave first. You found the Grave and the Vanilla Silver Harp first. And so basically each of you spent, I wanted to say, about 15 or 20 minutes just wandering that gigantic second continent for the last thing that each of you needed.
Yeah, I made up my mind that knowing how much space was in the northeast section of that map, that I wasn't going to go back to that little northwest corner that I had returned from to buy the broadsword in the early game. So I had made the decision that was going to be essentially the last spot I checked, because I didn't think it was that big. I had not realized quite how far it ran to the north, so that was kind of a mistake on my part.
Yeah, it was interesting how everything laid up for you guys. I do have to ask, did you ever confirm that you guys started on a small island or not? I kept waiting for somebody to check that last little bit down there, but I never actually witnessed it.
Oh yeah, I was dead sure by like 13 or 14 minutes in, because below the castle ended, to the right of the castle ended where I hurt more the Wyvern, and then to the west was just a dead end with Hawksness and the Swamp North. So yeah, I was dead certain from 12 or 14 minutes in that it was just one small little continent.
Yeah, based on what I was seeing from the geography and how it seemed to be tapering off, the one little piece I never saw myself, you guys on a small island, that is incredibly rare, I find, on the newer versions of this randomizer. So it was kind of refreshing to see that old school, what little small island they're on. Probably the only reason the Dragon Lord has not destroyed Tanager yet, if you want to get into the lore of it all. And that made, of course, for many, many, many Swamp Cave pass-throughs.
Yeah, it was really disappointing when I took the Stone Man on to save the princess, because my idea was I fight the Stone Man, rescue the princess, outside to the north side, walk to Hawksness, kill the red dragon, and then walk back to Tanager. And then the Stone Man ended up with DL2 breath. It was like, well, that was a mistake.
Well, yeah, no, it was interesting. You both actually went after the Swamp Cave Guardian. In your case, with that Silver Shield in hand, I thought for sure you would have started with Hawksness because it was on the way south, but you both went there first, and Archfield actually stayed away from Hawksness for, how long was it, Lafkin? About 20 minutes before finally going back there?
Yeah, I've got down here that ArchfieldMonk picked up the armor around 45 minutes, and HighRofellos picked up the armor at around 45 minutes, and ArchfieldMonk didn't pick it up until past the hour mark. Chat talking about the fact that we did see those two cursed belts early on, so ArchfieldMonk gambling on the fact that Hawksness might have had nothing at all, but unfortunately that was not the case.
Yeah, I got lucky with the way that I routed the second continent, because I found coal and knew it was empty. So I knew Hawksness and the search spot were full, which was why I was trying to do them both in that one circuit and then go back to the opposite continent for the coordinates, because I knew they were ludicrous, I think is the word I'm going to go with.
I'm not sure of my exact wording when we saw them, but said that they were so large and so bad that when you were told of them, the old man had to put a second period with another quote at the end of the text box. It was that bad.
Yeah, I looked at it and went, I could reverse route this or reverse count this potentially, but the path over there was so bad, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to make it work. So I just decided within like 15 seconds to just rescue the princess. Swamp North was right there. Just don't try to fight that one. Just go get the GPS.
Yeah, absolutely. That GPS was pretty valuable there. Chat was talking about the potential of a reverse count, but I'm not sure that Tantagel was far enough to the north, or if you'd seen that southernmost spot on the other side of Swamp Cave. Did a reverse count ever cross your mind once you saw those coordinates?
Yeah, it was considered, but especially because you knew that Tantagel was so close to the north edge of the map, or at least so it appeared. So you knew you were only going to have to basically count about 12 or 15 off the bottom, basically. But my problem was I knew then that the swamp south was a ways back to the east, but I couldn't tell if Tantagel was clear to the west edge of the map, or if I was actually going to have a question on that count. So it made it very dicey trying to do a reverse count. I was afraid I was going to have to do too large of a spiral to search it out. And when I found it in that mountain section, or the hill section, I was especially thrilled that I hadn't tried to reverse count it, because the encounters there trying to do that spiral would have been just a mess.
Absolutely, yes, it would have been a mess indeed. So yeah, both of you did indeed pick up that princess and use that GPS to go and unfortunately find the fairy flute. ArchfieldMonk at that point, having not found the harp or the armor, is probably hoping to find one of the two there. And he at that point actually had not seen Cole, so that may have been another motivating factor in delaying that Hawksness check. But for a second here, as we watch ArchfieldMonk make this dive, going to try and finish up here. I want to go back to the very beginning of the seed here, as it was, for as easy as the middle part of the seed was, the first part of that seed was a little bit difficult. And I want to give you some props here for a huge heads up play. I think you were looking for a town early on, maybe wanting to find a hand axe, but instead finding Cantlin and picking up the fairy water. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. We walked in, and the first shop was like bamboo pole, broadsword, and like clothes and a large shield. So it was not real value, especially with only like 580 or 590 gold, whatever it was I got. The bottom shop then had no decent weapons, and all it had was like leather armor and a small shield. So I went ahead and decided, okay, there's an easy way out of this. We can just stock 4 or 5 fairy waters, look for something in like zone 1, maybe a metal scorpion or something, get 3 or 4 levels right off the rip and see what we get. And then after like 1 red slime, I think I nuked a scorpion with the first fairy water to hit level 3, and just bang, there was Hurtmore just sitting there. So then once I found Hawksness, it was like, well, this is a simple decision. Wander around in here for, gosh, I don't even know what I got there, 7 or 8 levels. I think I ended up 10 or 11 before I even went through Swamp once.
Yeah, it was a very good decision too. I remember it seems like you did go a little bit east, and I remember you saw a couple of wyverns out there, some very juicy monsters, and then right after deciding to go back into Hawksnest, did indeed find that the encounters there were pretty nice. I remember there were some rogue scorpions, maybe even some knights there, and I do believe it was level 10 or even almost level 11 before you left there. And meanwhile, over on ArchfieldMonk side, again, throughout the entire seed, differentiating in the routing constantly, as Archfield unfortunately never saw, or very late found Cantlin had to get level 2 and level 3 the hard way. But once he got that Hurtmore spell, basically at the same time you were getting all those levels, was exploring the second continent. I believe that led him to find Garenham first and check that out. But unfortunately, that did not quite pay off in the end.
Yeah, the only thing dangerous in Hawksness was the fact that I think between the Wraith Knights, the Rogue Scorpions, and the Knights, I think 2 of the 3 of them had Stop Spell. So I had several times I had to flee after engaging in the battle because they got an ambush Stop Spell off on me or things of that nature. So 3 great enemies in there, but just a little risky with the low agility we had through essentially that entire seed, because even level 15 was still only like 74 agility, which is the reason at the end there I went ahead and took the 1 extra level. I was hoping for a second agility bump after we'd gotten like 20 at level 12 or 13. It just didn't happen, and it made the dive down a little more dangerous, but with 144 attack power or whatever, we had spare heal more, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was an interesting play. I think there was room there for a couple of different decisions. I mean, on the one hand, it is going to be pretty quick to get that level. You were pretty close at the time that you had put everything together. On the other hand, potentially able to just fight your way down. But in the end, the lead was enough. I do want to mention that the experience gap coming out of that Hawksnest grind was about somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500, and never really let up. So credit to you for that amazing decision. Credit to you for the win. Very well played. I don't have the bracket up yet, so I'm not sure who you're going to play next, but we do know that you are going to move on. So GG's once again.
I just want to interject and ask, maybe this is already covered, but HighRofellos, have you ever had a Dragon Lord 1 with 3 stop spells, including a sneak attack stop spell like that?
No, that was the weirdest Dragon Lord 1, followed by the strangest start to a Dragon Lord 2 I think I've ever had. Triple stop spell with an attack that took me 2 HP below where I'd have just swung again at 97. I took the herb thinking, okay, maybe I can still get a double out of this just in case I do terrible rolls on the Dragon Lord, even though I had some room to spare. Then he stop spells again. And then Dragon Lord 2 proceeds to not ambush me and low roll both attacks. So I ended up with an opening triple on DL2, which was just unbelievable all the way around.
And it appears that you, HighRofellos, you will be up against the Kermit the Frog impersonator himself, Bobski, in the next round.
Well, hopefully it's not a snowy seed, or Bob's skis might benefit him there.
Amazing.
I do have to say as well, these rolls have been very for Archfield again. I've seen an 11 and a 12 in there already.
Yeah, very unfortunate for ArchfieldMonk. His first attempt here, I wasn't counting, but chat was counting. He rolled 164 against what turned out to be 165, and coming down to the wire once again, rolls another 12. That has been 2 times that ArchfieldMonk has made a full dive. 2 times that ArchfieldMonk has been denied that attempt at a graceful exit, and it looks like he's gonna try again. Credit to the tenacity of ArchfieldMonk.
2 12s and 2 13s. The rolls were worse on that attempt than the first one. Unbelievable troll job here from the Trollgun Lord.
Yeah, the rolls even for me weren't great. I think I saw 120 plus roll in the entire fight. I was supposed to be doing like 11 to 23, I think, by the time I got done.
Oh, you rolled at least 3 20s that I saw, so 20 or 21s. I mean,
I didn't think I rolled that many 20s.
At least 2 for sure. Possibly.
I saw 2.
And then one of them was like an 18 or a 19 then. Like you had high rolls going. HighRofellos, some might say. But only me, because that's a terrible joke. Only I would do that.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do with that. I think I'll just pass.
So ArchfieldMonk heading through the Swamp Cave again, going to attempt Sharlock dive. This would be attempt number 4. First one ending with a Trolling Armor Knight, taking 4 Healmores, not allowing him to run. You guys were only about 3/4 of a floor apart at that point, diving for the win, and then an Armor Knight opened up a massive gap. And you know what? The game hasn't let up since. Archfield just not allowed to enjoy things.
Has Archfield made the decision to check the treasury just because the fighter's ring is 80% chance to be there?
Not to my knowledge.
No, hasn't made that check at present, and is again wandering back around here towards Sharlock, just through the swamp here. Runs into a blue dragon, and I don't know if we've seen a blue dragon hit yet, but you know, insert your dart meme here. It'd be 180 points.
Yeah, the one thing I'm surprised you guys didn't ask about was the ridiculous luck of what treasures ended up in the 3 treasures of Garen Graves' top floor.
Yes, that's right. That's a very good point.
That was a huge get because Archfield had keys well ahead of you from Romalder. Because you did
I'm sure anybody who ran the seed would have had keys before I did.
Yeah, it was wild in how it worked in certain ways. And now we're seeing Archfield do the same thing that HighRofellos did, looking for level 16 before entering. Sharlock is looking to get 17 off the desert here. Chat wasn't a fan of the play for you to get that level before going in, and now doing the same thing you did, said heck with this, and is just going to go walk around the top floor to get the level.
Yeah, the only reason I did the desert there for a second was I thought, based on the way the encounters had gone there on my walk by to go to Rainbow Drop Cave, was that the green dragons might have been like 42%, have 2 of the 5 encounter spots there, and they were so stop spell heavy that it was going to be really easy to just grab them and swing through them and then go. And they just didn't want to show up.
This game has to get off of ArchfieldMonk. This is where you need to put in the Simpsons, stop, he's already dead. A golem puts him to sleep and punches his lights out. And maybe we're seeing the forfeit finally. It appears we might.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even willing to risk the golems when I started seeing them. That was just an automatic flute and leave. There was no way I was risking anything coming out of them.
Yeah, really unfortunate here. ArchfieldMonk taking a second maybe to cool off, or maybe to get a drink of water, or just collect his thoughts here. But no, noting in chat, ArchfieldMonk generally not one to forfeit a race. And again, credit to the tenacity as he has picked his controller back up. He is in the swamp cave for attempt number 5.
I mean, technically that wasn't attempt number 4. That was just grinding for a level, and the game just would not let Archfield have any fun. Ridiculous. Here's level 17, Lafkian. Let's see what crazy stats. Come on, big strength gain, like 30 plus. Let's go. Well, it's 1. That's not as good. 3,
Yeah.
19 hit points, 10 magic points. That is definitely going to make this fun. We could see a death necklace potentially if Archfield wanted to meme it up pretty good.
Yeah, because 19 more puts him at, what, 131, I think, based on what I had at 16?
Yeah, 131 and at least 1 extra heal more, so could make that play if you wanted, or could hold on to that HP for some double attacks. It just kind of comes down to how he's feeling when he makes it back down. So we will keep an eye on that for now.
I mean, honestly, I'd love to see him also go for the fighter's ring. Let's go all out here. Let's have all the fun in the world, right? Let's do it.
157.
That's a 14-28 range. You got to do it. And with the way the rolls have been, you have to. And then you'll probably get, what, a 6-turn, 6-swing win? Just the way the game wants to be, right?
Sometimes that is, in fact, just how the cookie crumbles, as, again, just taking that extra effort to get that level. Unfortunately, no huge bonuses here, just a little bit of extra comfort. Hopefully it's enough. ArchfieldMonk now in cold, taking the in, gonna go ahead and run back in, try to make it all the way down and finish this up.
And here's hoping that's indeed what we see as Archfield, keeping in mind everyone just joining us thinking, wow, this was a blowout. It was not a blowout. It was a tale of 2 Sharlocks ultimately at the end. HighRofellos managed to get through in 1 try, whereas this Sharlock has just not laid off Archfield, continuing to find new ways to troll.
Absolutely not a blowout here. Was very close. Both runners again having information that the other needed all the way up to the very end. Only about 25 to 30 seconds separating them in their initial attempts at making it down Sharlock, and unfortunately this seed things just not going ArchfieldMonk's way, but once again making his way into Sharlock, and now sees an armored knight just gonna try to tear through it here with that massive attack power.
You may as well at 145, especially given how bad they've been on the running away luck. You may as well slice and dice and get yourself some Julian armored knights and get underway.
The run luck was always going to be bad here. We had terrible agility through that entire seed.
I mean, you did get that 20 agility gain right at 14, which kind of made things a lot better. You were up into the 70s at that point.
Yeah, but even 70 with as many armored knights and red dragons as are in the Sharlock area, ugh.
Yeah, that's one thing I do remember seeing from your dive there, Hyro, as it was looking pretty clean for the first 2/3 of it, and then the U-shaped floor and the press right floor also pretty clean. But then really, ArchfieldMonk, the window of opportunity started to open up as you were making your way around that final floor. Some pretty nasty stuff waiting for you down there.
Yeah, I think I got an encounter about every 2 steps there for like 15 or 20 steps. It was like watching Beta Strep try to walk through.
Archfield continuing the dive here, finding out, I don't know if we even do that the Star Wyverns have hurt. That's kind of hilarious. And stop spell. They are basically the most ineffective thing on the planet.
I think half the Charlock enemies rolled Stop Spell Hurt. The Axe Knight had Stop Spell. The Green Dragon had Stop Spell Hurt. The Star Wyverns had Stop Spell Hurt. It was all over.
Problem being, of course, there was a couple of monsters that just are trolling no matter what. And that Armored Knight really proved to be a big difference maker here, as Archfield now, I believe, on the diamond floor, getting away from a golem. Or actually maybe past the diamond floor at this point.
Yeah, it looks like the diamond floor is indeed where he just was. And now looking at the switchback floor just moments away from the U-shaped floor, where again those red dragons are waiting to stall him from getting back to the Dragon Lord.
Well, that red dragon couldn't wait. It got right up in his business.
Well, it got right up in his business, but it's going to get the business on the end of this. 145 attack power is going to take away one heal more. The unfortunate rolls just continuing to come in here as ArchfieldMonk tries to finish up the seed.
And another red dragon almost immediately, and it sneak attacks like the last one. Really gross game.
Yeah, again, that agility rearing its ugly head. And, oh my goodness, a miss!
And missed on a swing on the last fight, I believe, as well. So we might see another heal more. No, gets the kill that time. Probably going to use some herbs here. Definitely going into the bag for that. Now, hoping to get a little bit of a heal walk in. Let's see if the game relents. Nope, there's an Armored Knight.
I don't even think he's off the U-shaped floor yet. Is gonna go ahead and clean up this Armored Knight. Not even through the U-shaped floor. Is gonna finally make it down the stairs. All right, it looks like the game's finally handing him one clean floor, the shortest floor in this dungeon. Can he make his way around the final floor without using any more resources?
Fighter's Ring. Fighter's Ring. Oh, I was cheering for it, but no dice. And a red dragon, because of course it is.
Yeah, unfortunate here. The Fun Police will not let him advance at all. He does get some slightly better rolls here. I do believe that was a 3-turn fight. Very heads up play here, throwing out the heal spell. Although actually, now that I think about it, I think that did reduce his heal more count by 1, maybe
Indeed.
just out of herbs.
Indeed. I believe still has herbs, just use the heal. So down to 10 heal mores at present. Again, still seems like enough, but who knows? This game has been awfully cruel here, as ArchfieldMonk closing in on the spike spot, which of course, as we know, is free. It's an Axe Knight.
Well, it may be free for some, but so far nothing has been free for ArchfieldMonk, as it does take one swipe. Not going to take too much off the top here, as just going to go ahead and throw that heal spell out. Gonna have this clean walk to the Dragon Lord, and now I do believe this is attempt number 3. The only decision left to be made, will he throw on that death necklace?
I mean, potentially a 6-swing win if you do it, but how likely are you to roll 165 or better on 6 swings? It would be pretty tough.
It would be pretty tough indeed. Now using the herbs at the end of this fight, really hoping for a stop spell to preserve the possible opening triple. But the game just doesn't let up.
You don't need that many hit points for an opening triple. We've already seen how to do it.
And now the fight commences for the honor of finishing the seed.
Are you kidding me? That was back-to-back minimums. Are you kidding me with this?
Back-to-back minimums. The game continues to say no. You're not going to finish just yet.
Just unbelievably bad luck here. There's a 21. That offsets one of them.
Unfortunately, gets a 14 to follow that up.
It's all breath attacks, but does get a double here. That'll definitely increase the odds. That is for sure.
Alrighty, so 31 in one turn, and the next attack looks like he's gonna roll closer to the average, a 17. Oh, maybe, just maybe, 5 heal mores left in the tank. Maybe this could be the opportunity for Archfield to finish.
Great roll, another 21. That's another max. We've had 2 mins and 2 maxes in this fight.
Alrighty, it looks like another 17 coming in. And fire, the Dragon Lord continuing to breathe that fire. What's the next attack? Oh my goodness.
A 12. Unbelievable. 2 11s, a 12, 2 21s, a couple 17s, a 16 as well, a third 17, still 2 heal mores. No problem. GG's to Archfield, persevering against a very, very trolly Sharlock. Heading back to Tanagil now, Lavkian.
Absolutely. And please, everyone in chat, break out your GGs for this tenacious finish. ArchfieldMonk will finish in second place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 45 minutes, and 17 seconds. But don't let that fool you. This was not a blowout at all. It was down to the wire while HighRofellos was still in it. Unfortunately, just coming down to those damage rolls, and ArchfieldMonk will be out, but with the graceful exit as he does finish up.
Pretty sure I heard you say, Lavkin, this is a 30-second lead, but it'll be a 30-minute win. I'm pretty sure you made that call right in the moment.
Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by.
No.
Potentially there.
Would do that. Could you believe that?
But
A 30-second lead becomes
not much I
that.
can do about the DL fights, but
The randomizer, why you so cray?
Dragon Warrior Randomizer does not care about your attack power, your HP, your defense power, your agility, doesn't care at all about the stats. Some people in chat, I'm sure, have had this experience before. And as we wait for ArchfieldMonk to join us, the first comments, I don't blame him at all. His first words after the GGs came out are, "Oh, golly."
yeah, oh golly.
Way more polite than I would have been, I assure you. Unbelievably bad Sharlock luck for you. Sharlock, if you will. Archfield, GG to you. A rough finish to what was a really close race.
Oh well, thanks. Yeah, I did not have a very good Charlocks. I did. But I mean, for what it's worth, I don't really think, and Hyro's still here. GG, Hyro.
GG to you too. Glad we could get this fit in and have what it sounds like it must have been a phenomenal race for about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, me too. I was frankly a little shocked to still be in it at the end. I figured I'd see a dot done when I was getting into Charlock the first time. So, well done, and hopefully it was a good race to watch up until the end there.
I gotta tell you guys, the first hour, 10 minutes of this race was interesting. 2 vastly different routes, 2 vastly different approaches, racing to different locations, kind of all coming together with interesting decisions, both pro and con for both. And as I said, that Armored Knight on the top floor of Sharlock opened the door wide open, and HighRofellos just blasted right on through.
Yeah, I wish in hindsight when I used the heal more, I wish I'd just gone ahead and attacked through. There's no guarantee I'm actually going to be able to make a successful dive on that first attempt, but I really didn't feel, I don't know. I felt like I was probably going to have to do some running in Charlock, and as it turned out, against the Armored Knights, and if there were Red Dragons, then some running there too, but I basically had to bail after that. I don't know how many run fails that was, but it was just a lot, and I don't know if it was actually the best decision not to just try to fight through there anyway and risk burning 2 heal mores in the fight or not, but I wasn't inclined to. I'm almost never inclined to heal on the top floor in the first place, so when that happened, I'm just like, all right, we'll get to the staircase. It's a little bit shorter a walk, and we'll outside and go back.
It was kind of unfortunate. You had to spend 4 heal mores. We're trying to get away from that Armored Knight, and I believe chat, the statisticians we have around the community indicated you were 44% to run away, so some really, really rotten run luck there against that Armored Knight.
Yeah, for sure. That's around where I was thinking. I didn't actually know what our agility was at that point, but I knew what my defense was, and I only had a large shield, so I thought, well, I'm probably like 40% here to try to get away. And that didn't happen for a bit. So yeah, but I mean, as far as that goes, I would not at all. I wish I'd been able to get past that just so it'd been maybe a little bit closer at the end. But for what it's worth, I felt like I made a lot of mistakes that seed, and I was just kind of surprised to be in it at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it was a very exciting race to watch, very very close. HighRofellos, I had mentioned to him before, made he found Cantlin first, was probably hoping to spend that gold on something like a hand axe, but not finding much there. Did make the heads up play of picking up Fairy Water, getting himself off the ground to hurt more first. But really, you weren't too far behind, only about 5 minutes separating the two of you, and really it'll be interesting to watch this one back if either of you choose to do so, as the exploration and the routing were almost completely opposite from start to finish. I mean, I'm sure the anxiety was starting to kick in, as I believe it took both of you about 10 or 15 minutes just to find that last thing that you needed. But again, both of you having the information that the other needed, and it was about, I believe, 30 seconds or less separating that initial Sarlacc entrance.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I'm glad it was a good race to watch. I'm pleased to hear that. I was really starting to feel it about the hour mark. I was just like, I'm not sure. Or probably a little bit before that, actually, when I was still looking for Grave. And like you said at the beginning too, just not seeing Cantlin was a huge detriment. I would have spent all my money on Fairy Water and probably gotten a better start than I did. Instead, I had to hunt red slimes for however long it was. But uh, yeah, I mean that's just the way those things go, and there's not much you can do about certain things. But certainly there are different ways in which I wish I had approached the seed as from a routing standpoint. Just going back to Hawksness sooner and some other stuff, but I can't even remember all the things I was annoyed with myself about for that first 45 minutes or so. So it's probably not worth talking about at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, with that first continent being as small as it was, and that second continent being as massive as it was, with things basically being on opposite sides, you were the first to find Garenham, and with keys, might I add, being able to head to the back there and see what it had, which was pretty valuable, and then pretty much everything else on the complete east side. And so HighRofellos going east first, you going north first, just had to flip that equation around. And pretty impressive, honestly, that given the way things shook out, the ending that we got, or close to the ending anyway.
Yeah, I just to hear that's a little surprising. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to going back and watching it at least the first hour 10, I guess, just to see how that part went. But GG again, Hyro, and thanks everybody on the broadcast crew, Brian and Blavkian and Cyberdark for restreaming and Centroid for tracking today. I really appreciate it. I don't know that I have too much more to say, but if you guys have any other questions, I'll be happy to stick around.
Yeah, I think that's gonna about wrap it up for us. Unless Brysol for Hyro, Brysol, do you have any questions for them?
Honestly, I feel pretty good at where we're at, guys. Great race. Congratulations again, HighRofellos. Moving on, Archfield. Unfortunately, your run is over, but a good showing all the same. I think more wins than losses, and a solid placement overall.
Yeah, I'll take it. And good luck the rest of the way, HighRofellos.
Thank you very much. Sadly, Archfield, I think you got beat by the fact that I think Charlock felt it owed me one after last week.
I'll say this too. I had to dive Charlock, well, technically 4 times, although really it was just 3. That golem sleep, I laughed out loud for about 10 seconds after that killed me. I was just like, I'll get the next level. It'll be fine. It wasn't fine. But anyway, yeah, as long as that took, it was still like much shorter than my last 2 tournament seeds, because those were both 2 hours plus. So as frustrating as it might have been at the end, it was still pretty breezy.
All right, well, with that, I'm Bryce Solf, my co-host Lavky, and thanks again to the restreamers, as well as the runners, the tracker, everybody in the community. This has been a great tournament so far. There are, I believe, one match tomorrow coming up, and more great matches to come. So thanks so much for joining us. I believe we're going to raid Diabetes the Second, so be sure to hang around, go say hi, check out more action, and hey, things are just getting interesting, aren't they, Lavkin?
Absolutely. A lot of excellent matches to come in the near future. HighRofellos advancing, I believe, now 4-1, going to take on Bobski sometime next week. I'll definitely be looking forward to that. So don't look away. Stay tuned for more exciting action. And just one more time, GG to Archfield, GG to HighRofellos. A very well played race here. The tenacity needed to remain strong, but it did indeed do so. And I'm glad Archfield, you were able to come and say hi to us at the end there. But now with everything wrapped up, looks like we are going to go ahead and throw it over to Diabetes. So on behalf of myself, Bryce Solf, our tracker, Cyberdark, and rehost Centroid41, ArchfieldMonk, and the other racers here, HighRofellos, thank you so much again for joining us, and have a nice night and stay safe out there. Good night, everyone.
And we're done.
And we're done.
And we're done. Thanks, everybody.